Welcome back to the CTO Playbook, the podcast dedicated to helping CTOs excel. I'm your host, Adam Horner. Today's episode is a little different. It's my festive gift to you, to thank you for subscribing and listening during the year. I've created a light-hearted Christmas tale about two rival CTOs, a race for funding, and the lessons they learn along the way. It's full of tech chaos, festive cheer, and a little bit of Christmas magic. So grab a cup of tea, mulled wine, or whatever fuels your holiday spirit, and relax while I tell the tale of two CTOs, a festive race. In a town where the startups were growing apace, two rival CTOs prepared for a race. One was bold Harold, a confident chap. The other, young Tara, still making her map. At the CTO mixer, blue vine in hand, Harold held court like the king of the land. He spoke of his metrics, his sprints, his AI, while Tara stood back with a watchful, shy eye. For Hal, the event was a stage to perform, to flex and to boast. His usual norm. He leaned in toward Tara and scoffed with some cheer. The tortoises here won't win funding this year. But Tara just smiled, though her cheeks turned red. She pushed back her doubts and the fire she fed. Though young, she was bright. Her team, small but keen, and dreams of her products had started to gleam. Their startups, though different, were locked in a fight for VCs with checkbooks and visions so bright. The stage was set for a demo day race, and both CTOs had 3 weeks to chase. Hal rallied his team with a motivational cry. We build till we drop. I want features to fly. He loved shiny tools, the complex and bold, and skipped little steps, like tests, truth be told. But Tara, though cautious, had made a small pact to follow her coach, whose guidance was tact. Steady progress, he'd said, wins out in the end. Tech debt's a beast you must slowly amend. Her backlog she triaged, her servers she patched, her juniors were mentored, her visions were matched. She broke down the work into chunks, small and neat, and every success made her path more complete. Meanwhile, in Hal's camp, alarms blared all night as builds broke at midnight, a terrible sight. You're working too slow, Harold roared at his team. They'll never fund us if we can't make this gleam. He threw out new features, untested and rushed, while his weary developers slouched at their desks, hushed. One muttered, "This code's like spaghetti on fire. We're stacking quicksand of bugs. This is a mire." As days wore on, both CTOs felt the strain, with server explosions and gremlins to tame. Hal faced an issue both comical and grim. His AI assistant began mocking him. "Dear Harold," it typed, "you should pause for a snack or focus on fixes before it all cracks." A feature he'd demoed, the one with great pride, now randomly emailed his mum and his guide. "Oh, apologies," Hal groaned. "It's a small oversight," while engineers swarmed with an all-hands-in-sight. In Tara's small office, the mood was still light. Despite blowing fuses on a frosty cold night, the smart decorations she'd set to impress went rogue and unleashed festive chaos, no less. The glue vine machine overclocked, spewing steam, and garlands of LEDs danced like a dream. "Pull the plug!" Tara shouted amidst all the haze, and her team doubled over in laughter and praise. "Who fixed it?" one asked, as the Wi-Fi came back. "It's fine," Tara grinned, giving routers a whack. Her progress was steady, her chaos contained, while Hal's frantic pace left his systems half maimed. But midway through December, Hal hit a wall. His features were flashy, but bugs plagued them all. The holiday hackathon crumbled to bits when his database froze from his overzealous fits. "We'll rebuild it tonight," he proclaimed with a roar, as devs whispered quietly, "Not this anymore." One junior remarked as the hours ticked by, "This technical debt's gonna cause us to cry." Meanwhile, in Tara's small office, she thrived. With sprints neatly planned and her deadlines survived. She worked on refactors, removed nested loops, and hosted small sessions to rally her troops. "What's changed?" asked her team, seeing her calm poise. Her answers were measured. She led without noise. Each problem she solved had a lesson attached, and nothing was rushed or unwisely dispatched. The day of the demo at last came to pass, with investors aligned in a room filled with glass. Harold arrived in his loudest display. Confident, brash, he would own this bright day. His slides loaded up, his voice rang out strong as he showcased new features, but something went wrong. A glitch turned the interface garish and bright, rendering dashboards in Comic Sans white. Just a bug, Harold muttered, now red in the face, while Tara prepared for her quiet embrace. She took to the stage, with her slides clean and neat. Her voice filled the room as she took to her seat. Her app, though less flashy, performed like a star. The system ran smoothly. No glitches so far. The investors leaned forward. They smiled and they nodded. Tara left stage as Hal sat there, deflated and spotted. Then murmurs turned cheers as the verdict came clear. Tara's startup had funding to launch the new year. That evening, they gathered for dinner and wine, a feast to conclude this mad Christmas time. Tara's team toasted her calm, steady way, while Harold looked on with not much to say. Then Tara, quite shyly, stood up with a smile and shared her small secret to gasps all the while. I've had a small helper, a coach on the sly, who taught me to focus, adapt, and to try. He taught me to listen, to pause and reflect, to balance my drive with a measured effect, to build brick by brick, and to learn what's enough and never to bury my team under fluff. Each small, steady effort compounds, he would say, and those little steps brought me here on this day. Harold sat silent, then chuckled at last. I suppose my old methods belong in the past. A coach, eh? He mused as he sipped at his wine. Well, Tara, your victory's fair and it's fine. Perhaps come next year I'll take a new tack and slow down a bit while my devs have my back. So ended their race on that holiday night, with laughter and lessons and twinkling lights. For though they had clashed, they both came to agree that growth comes from learning, as all leaders see. So here's to the CTOs, bold and unsure, the ones who seek answers, the ones who endure. With guidance, some patience, and grit to hold tight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night. Thank you very much for listening all the way through to the end. Just before you go, I'd like to ask you for one thing in return for putting together all these episodes of the CTO Playbook podcast for you. Please leave a review. Wherever you're listening, whether that is Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whichever platform you're on, leaving a quick review will help more CTOs find the podcast and enable me to create more great episodes. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of the CTO Playbook.